Let me... Where's Zandi? Aha, very good.
Thank you very much, Minister Ntshavheni. It is indeed my great honor that today, it is my great honor and a privilege that today we are handing over this bus, which is a democracy bus. We say get on the bus. It actually is an indication of the long journey that we traveled as South Africa from 1994 to where we are today. It symbolizes the good and the achievements that we've made as a country, coming from a system that made us foreigners in our own country. Today, we are proud to be South Africans. It happens on the year when we all voted, and we are happy that we now have the opportunity to choose the government of our choice in a country that belongs to all of us. Minister, this bus is a symbol of the journey that we have traveled as a democratic and a free South Africa, as a people of South Africa, as the Ntswalos of South Africa. We thank you, Minister, for being here with us as the Department of Transport. Indeed, it comes from our state-owned company, SANRAL, one of the best managed state-owned companies. Sometimes people think that there isn't any state-owned company in South Africa that is best managed. And I tell them that is because you've never been to transport. SANRAL is one of those, AXA is one of those, Air Traffic Navigation Services is one of those. Our regulators are managed properly. They're getting clean audits from the Auditor General. They get audited by our international bodies. They give South Africa a good name at international level. And this is what we're celebrating here today, but this is what we'll be celebrating going forward up until the 27th of April 2025. Minister, I hand over to you this key. Thank you.
Behind the board, so we can all get Sorry, Minister, can I help you? You guys happy?
Yes. All right. At the end of that, I think, I don't know if Minister Ntshavheni wants to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you for the keys. So I wanted the real keys because when I was younger, we had taxis at home. But when I grew up, we had a bus. And without even a proper license for a bus, I used to attempt to drive a bus. So I wanted to see whether we can start it, but I realized here there is Road Traffic Management Corporation. I might get in trouble in terms of the law, so I don't want to go to prison today. You know, they have tendencies, traffic officers. They can put me in prison, overnight me, and release me only at 12 tomorrow, and that will be a problem. So I won't start the bus, but somebody must start the bus, and we hear the sound. Thank you, Minister, and we really appreciate the support of SANRAL, most particularly in these 30 years of freedom and democracy, but the support of the Department of Transport in general. We have traveled this journey and we continue to travel this journey. So we'll gladly get on the bus and get everybody else on the bus for 30 years of freedom and democracy. And even, you know, I can be creative and be very, the GCIS staff think I'm on the other scale of mental stability. So I was thinking, we can talk to PPS and get the president on the bus. It's just that not today or tomorroro, but we must really work on me and you getting the president on the bus. I'll go and see if I can go get my code 10. Well, I need public PP. Code 10 is enough, man. Okay, I'll work on the public transport driver's license as well, and the PDF one. Oh, because the PDP, because I'll have more than 8 people on the bus, eh? Can you see, I know the rules. More than 8, you need a PDP. But we are gladly getting on the bus, and the bus will start so that, media have a tendency of claiming, no, that bus doesn't work, so this one works. Thank you very much. Thank you, Minister, as we get on the bus.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you very much. Ministers are going to get on the bus. I suppose where there is room, media can get on board so that they see what the bus is like inside. The few that can go in. Thanks very much.
When you piece in the phone, I need somebody who can manage this. Where's the SH?
We don't want to crowd the bus.
Get on the bus. I'll do it. Actually, these ones are much nicer. The ones we used to drive were even worse. So inside the depot, you will drive. Okay. Understood you. I'm from the transport sector myself. Buses.
Whoever wants.
My grandmother owned Thank you. Guys, thank you. You've got enough content. Yes, and you see the bus starts. And you saw I like being a back bus bencher. I'll be conducting it from, when we grew up there were bus conductors. I'll be sitting on where he is sitting as a bus conductor and make sure they will have speakers soon. They have been assured that we're going to have the speakers on, and then but on the road it gets tomorrow, it starts. So look out for this bus at the inauguration. It's going to be a standing out, one of those standing out. Thank you very much. Thank you. Got your content.
But they can sit there. I'm telling you, this one's the one them there.
No, that guy maybe will. Is he not sharing that guy?
All that I'm telling them here.
Yeah.
Irish is also, Minister also here.
Like a stick. Yes. So we were there. So attending this thing. Yes. And this was not power steering. And this one is power steering. And the controls are here. So we drove different ones. When it was and then Basaf came with by time, because this is a Marco Polo. So we had Basaf, which was slightly better. And here you also do buttons for other things. Then our first manual. I'm looking forward to a bus driven by Minister. I'll be arrested. I'm sticking to the depots. I'll increase my insurance.
Cheers.
I just want to hear this.
And South Africa's flag.
Yes.
You can take a picture here, Minister.
Let's take a picture here.
Yes.
You want us to go both sides of the city?
No, that's fine.
Yes,
Fine, right?
yes, that's fine. But the key is mine. What?
Yeah, one-on-one.
I said you don't need me, Miss. You need help.
Ideally, we should get you, Minister, also.
One question for you.
Okay, who are you starting with, me or her? Or me? Or start with me so that I can.
You can dash.
Yes.
Are you good? All right. Minister Ntshavheni, thank you for speaking to us.
Yes.
So with the bus, we mentioned the fact that it will be going to communities, acknowledging the work that the government has done in the past 30 years of democracy. Will it also be going to problematic areas and addressing those issues with the communities?
Thank you for that question. We are not going to communities only to celebrate achievements. We are going to communities to make sure that we address their challenges. As the minister was addressing, she indicated that the bus is available to all government departments. As GCIS, our responsibility is to coordinate the use and usage of that bus. That's why it's going to go to everywhere. And that's why we indicated that it's going to be fitted with cameras and the sound system, because we wanted to record those things and get it as feedback, because we don't want to hear it from the media. You know, the opportunity for community engagement and community participation gives us government a direct relationship with the community to say, we've heard you, we've engaged with you. We'll take ministers, we'll take MECs, we'll take premiers, we'll take councillors, we'll take mayors to those communities, and they'll commit to saying when are those issues going to be resolved. That's why when we spoke about the presidential imbizos, the ministerial imbizos, we also spoke about the integrated development plans, consultation meetings and feedback meetings, because this is what this bus is going to help us with, to move people through. But of course, when we are doing that, we'll also showcase what we have achieved. And the major showcase, because this is Sanral, and you know what the slogan says, building a better South Africa through the road network. And that's what this bus is going to do. And that work of using the road network to travel and to reach out to those communities, far-flung, underdeveloped, and those who are still coming to develop, and those that have been developed, like she said, the streets of Soweto are no longer dusty, they're tarred. So we are going to go to both where there are successes and where there are problems. It's the responsibility of government.
And you mentioned that the first time it's going to go to work is tomorrow. We are curious as to how exactly are we expecting to see the bus tomorrow during the inauguration?
There are movements that are including movements of people on buses and so forth. So you will see it there, and you'll see. You know, we can't reveal everything. What will be the surprise? So yeah, but it's going to be there.
For our viewers.
No, it's going to. It's going to be there. You have a sneak peek of how the bus looks like, so the viewers will notice it and pick it up. It stands out as the colors of the flag. It also it's branded appropriately with the logo of the 30th of freedom celebrations in our country. But we look forward to seeing it tomorrow. It's all systems go. We are going to do our final dry runs today, but everything else is going as planned. We have started to receive our international guests for tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.
Can I leave?
Minister?
Yes.
Bamba.
Minister, my question to you is mainly on the roads infrastructure. And I know Minister Ntshavheni mentioned earlier on that, yes, our national roads are looking good, they're looking great, but then on a provincial level and on a more local government level, we are still having areas that are struggling, particularly with maintenance of the roads. So even in Soweto, you mentioned the dusty roads, well, they might be covered, but the maintenance of that is quite a struggle sometimes for the metros. In terms of the national government cooperating with provincial and local governments, what kind of interventions do we have in place to ensure that at least there is some sort of resolution to helping our local governments dealing with deterioration of roads?
No, thank you very much. I come from Elukwatini, born at Epangweni. We never had a road. It was something where a car, you'll be driven and therefore that will be the road. We now have roads. And those roads, as you have said, they need to be constructed, they need to be maintained. Both construction and maintenance, it requires funding. And for Sanral, we don't have a problem because we have got a clear funding for Sanral. From the tolled roads, the 4,000 kilometer road network that is tolled in South Africa, but of course from the Department of Transport, but is also able to go to the market and borrow money. And that is why we have got beautiful national roads. For the provincial roads and municipality roads, they are dependent on the fiscus. No country can afford to have roads that are maintained and constructed out of only the money that they get from the fiscus. We have 16 billion rand, for instance, for this financial year. That 16 billion rand, 3 billion rand is for Welisizwe passes. That already leaves you with about 13 billion rand for the 9 provinces. For the 266,000 kilometer road network, that belongs to provinces. That excludes the municipality roads, which are more than 300,000 kilometers. So you can actually tell that that money is just, it doesn't even begin to address the challenges that we have. Excuse me. Of that 266,000 kilometers, I always say, only 46,000 kilometers is paved. That is the provincial roads. And remember, provincial roads are main roads. They connect towns to towns, residential areas to heritage sites. They are very important roads. They are long. They are used for many reasons. And if you only have 46,000 kilometers out of 266, it means you still have got 220,000 road network, provincial road network. That is gravel. That requires to be upgraded so that it is paved roads, but even as gravel road, it requires to be maintained. The 16 billion rand or 13 billion rand will never achieve anything out of it. So the first question that we need to answer as South Africa is how must we fund our road network? And I think that's a question that we need to answer before we even say, how do we deal with the potholes? Because how do we maintain? Because there isn't any maintenance of road that can happen without money. So you start with money. People will say paving and so on, but even for paving, you still need budget. And that is the topic that I think we need to put on the table so that all of us as South Africans can agree on the mode of funding of our road infrastructure. One good thing is that our roads are proclaimed. So we know our roads, and that is why we say we're number 11 in terms of the length of our roads in the world. That is why we say we're number 19 in terms of the length of our paved roads in the world. And that is why the country that follows us is Nigeria at number 35, maybe because their roads are not proclaimed. So that is one positive thing that we have as South Africa. We know the road, our road network, as we know ourselves. We know where a portfolio is going to happen because we've got all the technology that we require for us to do that. The issue is, do we have money to prevent that pothole from happening? That's the crack of the matter, and that's the issue that as South Africa we need to address. So I like it when the media ask me this question, because I think on another day we've got to sit down and say, what is the method, the best method that will assist South Africa to maintain, to construct its roads and to maintain its roads. I can tell you now, just for construction only, of the 79 gravel roads that we have, out of 750,000 kilometers, of which is 560 something and 50 something kilometers, you need not anything less than 200 billion rand, just for construction. For maintenance, you need almost the same amount. Where do we get that money from? That is the question that we need to answer. But of course, with the work that we are doing, we are patching the potholes. As you have seen, we have requested provinces to transfer some of their strategic roads. They've done so. Just at the beginning of last year, Sanral stood at 21,343 kilometers. Today, we are close to 25,000 kilometers. So we've added some roads. What it means that those roads that were provincial roads, today they are in good state and they will continue to be properly maintained by Sanral. Because we say to them, you keep your good roads good, nothing less than that. But of course, also, we have identified some of the roads that get damaged in the main by the trucks that are owned by the private sector. The department will have to continue engaging the private sector so that they can actually take over some of those roads and maintain them. It doesn't mean that they will belong to the private sector. They will still remain, and therefore the government will remain liable for whatever that happens on those roads. But I think it is important for them, private sector, to play an important role in the maintenance of roads. We'll have also to look at this very funding model that we have to say, when we receive, for instance, the PRMG, Provincial Road Maintenance Grant from National Treasury, is it really true that we must just transfer the whole amount to a particular province? Because we have not seen the results of that. Maybe it's time that we say, you give us your business plan, you appoint the service provider, we go and check whether the costing is what we think should be, and then the service provider does the work, we pay direct as the National Department of Transport, so that we know that we're paying for the work that has happened. Because a lot of money has been actually spent on the maintenance of roads, but I'm not very sure whether we can say we have the value for money that we have transferred to provinces. So there's quite a lot of work that has to happen around the issue of the funding model.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Minister. Hello. I forgot we're on TV. We're live.
Before we depart inside, there's an arranged snack. Minister Ntshavheni has had to leave us, but I think Minister Chikuna is here to take one last interview. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Thank you. So, can you just
Sorry, he's dropping a phone. What's up?